Good morning, Hero Wars fans. Just a few days ago, I asked ANAM, who is active on the web/PC version of Server 11, about the Ginger team he uses to defend the arena. In this video, I'd like to share with you some of the knowledge that ANAM shared with me in the games chat. If you want to read the original document written by ANAM will be shown at the end of the video, so please stop the video and read the original document. Andvari, as Oliver's master, is well suited to increase his toughness and make him a perfect shield. Without the combination of Andvari and Oliver, the foremost vanguard Andvari would be dead, and without Andvari, Ginger would be quickly defeated by enemy attacks. Isaac Charge is a skill that debuffs the enemy team as a counter-attack, so time Aura to Isaac. Having Isaac in your team composition will come in handy after your DPS is dead, as he can be expected to increase your magic defense and can withstand and counter the twins' coordinated attacks. If you attach Albus, Sebastian's pet, you can expect an overall increase in firepower, as it will increase pure damage, which in turn will increase physical attack power. Ginger can only be tied to Fenris, so I call Fenris my Ginger dog. Jet has Axel tied to it, which increases his armor and magic attack power. This will increase Ginger's ability to recover her strength and prolong her life, as well as increase Jet's magic attack power and increase the power of her skills. However, I don't think this team composition is very good for defense. If you simply want to have a solid team composition, you can change to a tank with high armor status value and make Martha the last healer to increase durability. The point of my pet set is that you can change the nature of your team composition by replacing Qing Mao, who is tied to the pet Cain, with Isaac to specialize in pure damage but still be ready to attack immediately. The biggest thing to keep in mind when using Ginger is how to protect her with Andvari or Helios, since she has weak defense. Ginger and Tristan are only compatible with their pet Fenris. If your opponent is a physical attack team, Fenris is a great team pet to bring to the battlefield. If your opponent is Aurora or Kark, then Albus is the best team pet to accompany you to the battlefield. Since Biscuit is a magic pet, it is not a good match for Isaac on the enemy team, and Rufus is not good at it either. So in that case, you can take your pet Merlin to the battlefield for an advantageous fight. Ginger and Tristan can only be attached to the pet Fenris, so it will probably not be possible to use Ginger and Tristan together in high-level arena battles, as all 5 pets will be on a different level, maxed out. I'm sure things will change next year with the introduction of new pets, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a new type of pet that enhances physical attack power and armor. I've been experimenting a bit with my sub-game account, and Ginger has a lot of penetration, so if you pair her with a buffed physical attacker like Galahad, Nebula, or Kark, you can easily increase her damage depending on the situation while still getting some serious penetration. For simple physical damage, it's tempting to try the romantic combination of Ginger, Kark, and Nebula, who can attack back and forth, but without a good shield, Ginger probably won't be happy fighting. For ideal placement, I use Jet as a power booster for Ginger. Since Jet lowers the enemy team's armor status and increases the friendly team's attack speed, Jet performs best when its increased damage and recovery suppression are applied to Ginger's attacks and their targets. When choosing a team pet, it might be a good idea to consider the nature of such damage and choose based on whether you want an assist or are looking for improved performance. However, even though Axel and Oliver are good at defense, their ability to break through against strong defensive organizations is weak, and with the advent of Biscuit, tactics using recovery inhibition have become mainstream. By the way, I heard that Kenrou won the grand prize and acquired the absolute star, Biscuit? Biscuit is important if you are a low-cost player who fights melee with heroes in Guild War. Biscuit can block healing until the end, so you can wear down the enemy hero team if you want to. By using Biscuit as a team pet, you will be able to defeat a hero's defensive base in a few attacks, just as you would against a Titan. In my personal opinion, if you can make good use of Biscuit as a team pet, you will be able to reliably cut down the hero's base, which will lead to higher scores in Guild War. In other words, the introduction of the Biscuit has broadened the scope of our strategy. I lost the Guild War yesterday, but in the game against the enemy team, someone with over 900,000 power shaved down to plus 10 points using the above method, and then I beat the enemy team to win. It was pretty good. It's hard to level up your pet's equipment if you're an unpaid or low-cost player. I have Biscuit tied to Galahad. As stated in the game description, if all of your normal attacks are physical attacks, every time Biscuit's master hero attacks, he can give the enemy team a 30% recovery block effect for 5 seconds. It's a great skill depending on how you do it. Since Biscuit's first skill affects the battlefield, it actually affects the revival of Astaroth's companions, and if the person to be revived is anyone other than Astaroth himself, the time limit will be revive at 1 health recovery and the target of the revival will die soon. Biscuit's third skill gives a 30% healing disadvantage to attacks of heroes connected to Biscuit, and all enemy healing is reduced by 30%, applied to the target of the attack, whether it is vampirism or healing upon resurrection. Once you understand the meaning of Biscuit's skills, you will be amazed at what Biscuit can do. Also, if you take Biscuit to the battlefield as a team pet, it will become a damage dealer for magic attacks. What I mean by this is that due to Biscuit's second skill, Slowdown, Kark, Yasmin, etc. are vulnerable to magic attacks, and without Isaac, they can easily die from a direct hit of a magic attack. Biscuit is also a pet that increases the armor status value. For double tanking, you can tie Oliver to the first tank and Biscuit to the second tank to form a double tank formation and bring the game to a draw, or tie Axel to the healer to keep the healer alive. If you are planning to raise a Biscuit, good luck with it, as it can be used in many ways. Myra's pet Lairfair was very effective. Now, it's time for the video to end. If you are surprised by the amount of knowledge ANAM has, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching the video until the last part. I'll see you in my next video.